You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Salam. My name is Sheikh Abdullah. My name is Sheikh Abu Hakim Abdullah, President Chairman of Al Master Sharia Law, a non-profit religious organization operating in the state of Rhode Island, USA. Excuse me, because I'm out of breath from moving so fast. But I want to continue talking to you about our duties, our role in Islam. What is our role in Islam? How are we supposed to do this role in Islam? Do we have a choice in what we do? We have a choice. If you do it, you're correct. If you don't do it, you're a violator. This is the choice. Either you do it or you don't do it. There is no in the middle. There is no halfway. There's no half of Islam. There's no part of Islam. Either you do something fully as a Muslim or you don't do it fully as a Muslim. This is the way it must go. And this is the way we must do it. So that's what I'm talking to you about. One of the things that's messing us up so much is that we're trying to push our desires into our Islam and make it a part of Islam. That's what we're really trying to do. Some women don't desire to wear earrings. The law says don't wear that jewelry in the street. So you got people walking around pushing the jewelry in the street and wearing it all in the street. Law says no makeup. We're doing that. We're making ourselves up. Then the law says cover yourself. Don't show your breast. Don't show your shape. We're doing that also. We're wearing clothes that shows our shape. We're wearing clothes that other people are wearing. People wearing sweaters, we want to wear sweaters. People wearing clothes that fit tight, we want to wear clothes that fit tight. And yet we're going to call ourselves Muslims. We can't do that. Those are violations against our deen. And that's a sinner. It goes further than that. That can become a hypocrite. Those that say they Muslim, or those that say they part of it, and at the same time they're showing they're not part of it. We can't keep pushing our desires into the Islam, and that's what we're doing. We want to control who our daughters marry. We can't do that. The only one that can control who our daughters marry is the laws of Islam. The laws of Islam say they're not allowed to marry non-Muslims. But they're marrying non-Muslims today. The law says that we should marry only those of our own kind. We're not doing that. We're marrying Buddhists and everything else. I know a famous basketball player married a Buddhist, and he's got a statue in the house, and the Quran sitting here, and a Buddhist statue, big old Buddhist statue sitting here. And she praying to the Buddhist statue and got candles and everything to the Buddhist statue, and he's there reading Quran. This can't happen. This is not supposed to happen. But yet, he walks down the street, and he says Salam Alaikum to everybody, and everybody's salaming back. That's ridiculous. Because of the simple reason, he put two things with the law in his house. He put the faith of Buddhism the practice of Buddhism and the practice of Islam. That's equal to a law, and that's shirk. So I'm not saying these things. See, there's a lot of brothers out there saying stuff. Brothers singing Quran, brothers singing, they're doing Hadith, Yasin, different ayats, different surahs. But we have a big problem here today. We have our Islam being attacked by everybody. Any and everybody can attack Islam today, and they're doing it. I'm not saying they're not supposed to. A non-believer, if he doesn't dig Islam, and he wants to attack Islam, attack it. That's what he's there for. That's what he's supposed to do. And we're supposed to defend it against him. We're supposed to defend our deen. And we're not doing that. We're doing everything but that. We're doing everything but that. And it's getting worse. It's really getting worse, excuse me. Excuse me. It's really getting worse. And we're not doing anything about it. And we must start purifying our deen. Purifying the deen don't mean that you go out there and throw bombs on people, or you shoot people, or you want to blow up people. Purifying the deen means that you work on straightening out the deen. What's in the deen that's not right? What's in the deen that's causing it to look like something other than what it is? And there's a lot of that going on in the deen, and nobody's doing anything about it. You can have two mosques on the same block, or two Beit al-Masalis, or two centers on the same block. And a brother or a sister can take and do some harm to one on one side of the street, and walk on the other side of the street and be accepted, as if he done nothing or she done nothing. That's the truth. So where can they, what? So Allah says that you do something to one person in Islam, you do something to the whole group of Islam, because this ummah is one ummah. What affects the brother in Chicago affects a brother in Detroit. What you do to a brother in Chicago is felt by the brother in Detroit. But because he doesn't feel it physically, he doesn't look at it as it bothering him. And so he continues to do what he wants to do with different things. Then you got brothers and sisters, that there's people talking against us openly, and we got people going to be all right with them because they help them with their rent or help them do something else. But we can't do that. If a man cusses your brother out, or your sister out, or your children out, and he's non-Muslim, you can't deal with him. You should not deal with him. I don't care what he did for you or how he treats you as an individual, because he's treating your brother differently. You can't deal with him no more. And you must tell him that. Hey, how can you and I be all right, and you stomping my brother across the street? How can I be all right with you, and you literally stomping my brother across the street? So I can't be all right with you. But that's not happening. I see Muslims do stuff to other Muslims. And he walks to the crowd of all Muslims, and nobody says nothing to him because he's all right with maybe 10 brothers on the other side, on the other street, on the other group. So they won't say nothing to him because he treated them good. He gave them some sadaqah. Well, if he gives one Muslim sadaqah and cusses the other Muslim without being right, then you can't deal with that brother because he's mistreating a brother in Islam. And you must close yourself against him or her. That's not happening today. You got people that's literally talking bad against a brother, outwardly lying on that brother and sister, and the rest of Muslims will accept that brother and sister and listen to what he's saying and know that he done lied on the brother and sister across the street and won't do anything, won't say nothing to him. You know, to straighten it out. He won't straighten that brother out. Hey, brother, you lied to my brother across the street. Me and you can't do no business together. Regardless of how I feel about you. Or, excuse me. Or what we did together. And that's what we must do. We must straighten this stuff out. I hate to say that, but that's the way it is. That's purifying the deen. You got somebody selling raffle tickets and gambling and illegal stuff and all this kind of stuff, just doing crimes of the state. And you going along with them because that's against the state, but they committed wrong. Let me say something to you straight up. To steal a television that belongs to a Muslim is two wrongs. One, the crime of stealing. Two, that he took it from his brother. That's two wrongs. Now, to steal a television from a non-believer is still a crime because that person being non-Muslim or Muslim. And when he commits that crime, he's got to pay for that crime. So you can't treat that brother or sister like they did nothing because they was done to a non-Muslim. He did a crime against the non-Muslim and against his deen because he stole something. His deen doesn't say you stole it from a non-Muslim, so it's not stealing. Yes, I know of the Bismillah stick-ups. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ deliberately did some things against the non-Muslims in Mecca when he was in Medina. But he did it for a reason. He raided caravans, not to take the stuff off the caravan, but to make the people that he took it from come out to fight him. And that they finally did. And then Islam became one, all through Mecca, Medina, Yemen, all them different countries down there. Over there, down there, over there. That's what means purifying the deen. We must work on purifying our deen. It's not a joke, it's serious. This is really serious. It's really a serious act to purify the deen. The laws of the deen is very important. It's important for us, important for our children, their children, important. To take these long things out of the Islam that people made up trying to put them in the Islam in order to satisfy their desires. It's righteous. That's what we're supposed to be doing. But we can't walk around here not doing the laws thing and just doing our job thing. You got brothers work from 8 o'clock in the morning to 9, 10 o'clock at night. Five days or 6 days a week. They give their wife and son and children about 2 hours a week in time. The rest of the time they sleep or they're working. That's not supposed to happen like that. They're supposed to get their work, half of their day is supposed to be spent with their family or for their family. But we're not doing that. And it's getting worse. It's getting worse. Each day it's getting worse. So we must do something about that. And I'm calling upon you, brothers and sisters, to begin to do your deen. Fully do your deen. Follow your Islam. Follow your Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Do what he did. Dress the way he dressed. Eat what he eats. Say the things he said. Live like he does. And that's living the Quran and the Hadiths. Living Islamically. Or else don't live at all. Let's give up the Quran, give up the Hadith, give up Islam. If you're not going to live it, follow it, and do what you're supposed to do in it, then leave it alone. You're not going to get your head chopped off or nothing because you give up Islam. If you mind your business, you can't give up Islam in the city and then stand across the street talking against it constantly, cutting it up and all that kind of stuff. Because that's not allowed in Islam. Once you do that, you're an enemy of the Muslim and can be dealt with up by his or her law. And there's people that say that's wrong. No, you can't do that. In some countries, we allow each other to say what we want to say about each other. It's called freedom of speech. You have the right to say what you want to say about me. No, you don't have that right in Islam to say what you want to say about a brother if it's not true. You don't have the right to call him no names, not out of the names that he's under. But we're doing all that stuff. We're walking around calling each other this, and we're selling narcotics. We're pushing narcotics. Well, I'm not saying we're the only one pushing narcotics. There's Christians pushing narcotics, and Buddhists pushing narcotics, and Hindus pushing narcotics. But we're not supposed to push narcotics. I'm talking about the Muslim. My concern right now is about the Muslim. I must try to get my house in order before I can come over and straighten out your house. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying very hard to do this. My whole life is geared to work for Allah. That's one of the reasons I came into Islam, to work for Allah. Excuse me, man. My expertise must be used in the name of Allah. In the name of Allah, I stand and do my work. For Allah's benefit, I stand and do my work. For the Islam, I stand and do my work. For brothers and sisters, I stand and do my work. Why I say that is because I'm trying to do what is for Islam, and if a brother's underneath Islam, it's for him too. Oh. And that's what we must do. We must follow our deen. We must do what we must follow our deen the right way. Bismillah. Bismillah. We must follow our deen. And like I said, there is no, Islam is completed. You can't add nothing onto Islam now. You can't make it, you can't modernize Islam to match the time that you're in. You can't sit there and I'm going to vote for somebody else that we don't have to wear our headpieces. I'm going to vote, and we're going to have to say what we don't want to do and turn around and change the law about our headpieces. That's not in Islam. You can't do that. That's in a democratic society. And you don't have that right in Islam to do that. The way Allah designed Islam for us to benefit from, the way He put it there for us to benefit. Not for us to use what we want to use of it and throw the rest of it out the window. We don't have that right. That's not what He put Islam here for. That's not what He put Islam here for. So we must follow the Islam. And we got to follow it the way He told us to follow it. We got to do it the way He designed us to do it. Not the way we want to do it, but the way He designed us to do it. How many prayers we do? The way He told us to do our prayers. How many? We can't just do what we want to do and Islam will change something. This is why the word moderate is not part of Islam. Islam is used as it was 400 years ago and as it is 200 years ago, or 1,400 years ago, or 1,300 years ago. It's nothing changed, and you cannot change it. And brothers are trying to change it. Birds are passing statements and making laws that they want to make. You cannot do that. I don't know where we get that from, but we cannot do that. Allah tells us Allah says that we must follow Islam the way He designed us to follow it. But we don't want to do it that way. We want our desires to take part. Our desires is when we start desiring stuff, we start becoming, start putting equals to Allah. Sheikh. Start committing shirk. And we got to stop that. And this is very important for us to do. Can't get away with that. You just can't get away with that. And I'm talking to you about that. I'm talking to you about that. And I'm sincere in that, talking to you about that. I know I don't have everybody looking at my program because a lot of people don't want to look at what I'm saying. They don't want to be reminded that that they're not doing their deed correctly. They don't want to hear that. Well, that's what you're going to hear when you listen to my program. You're going to hear that. I'm not trying to praise any Muslims. I'm praising the law. And you're going to see, when you look at Islam, you're going to see me looking like a Muslim. Not like a Christian or Jew or anything other than a Muslim. And the way that I'm looking is the way the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ dressed and looked. And that's what I take my dress and look from. The way he dressed and looked. And I'm not trying to be an Arab or German or English or French or anything other than a Muslim. African American Muslim. That's what I'm trying to be. And not nothing else. I was one time confronted with that thing about marriage. My daughter was getting married to a non-believing person. And my daughter was born into Islam. When she came out in the hospital, I whispered in her ear the Kalima and the Fatiha, and held her up as a Muslim. And she was still wet. I was in the operating room, and that's what happened. And so my daughter wanted to get married to a non-believer, a Christian. And she wanted me to give her away to the Christian like other fathers do. Like you see them do in the movie pictures. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, alhamdulillah, rabbil alameen, rahman rahim, maliki yawmiddin, iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in, ihdina siratal mustaqim, siratal ladzina an'amta alaihim, ghayril maghdubi alaihim, waladdallin, amin.